All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Monday Mindset. My name is Paul Croto, and I'm here with Cheryl Morley. Who's got a...
See, it's not just me, Paul.
Yeah, Cheryl's having some technical difficulties as well. Oh, here she comes, walking through the wall.
Oh, sorry about that. I had to jump into my lipstick.
Well, listen, it's all about looking good.
Okay, sorry.
Awesome. Well, Cheryl, today is Fear Day. We're talking about fear.
Oh,
and it
wonderful.
Yeah, it's a problem out there. So we're going to have some suggestions on how to deal with fear, how to overcome it, and win the game.
Yeah.
So those of you that are following along with the Deb Erickson course, we're doing something called I Can Start, and I will actually put the link in here too. It's the icaninstitute.com. You can go to and click on join if you haven't joined already, and enter the code Cheryl. Did Cheryl 50 or just Cheryl Morley 50?
I think it's Cheryl Morley 50.
Cheryl Morley 50.
Yes.
And you get 50% off your gold membership, which gives you access to everything, which I've been talking to a lot of people, and they all have said definitely that the neural tools and the teachings from Deb has made a big difference in their life. So Cheryl and I love it. We think Deb is a great trainer, and we love the material she comes out with. So, but here on Mondays, we are just going to teach it ourselves. So we're interpreting everything that Deb says and turning it into health coaching kind of language and how to actually apply it to your health coaching business. So Cheryl, I used to think that me and my mind were on the same team. We're not. Okay, it's always you versus your mind, and your mind has one goal. That's it, just to help you survive at all costs.
Yep, keep you alive.
Yep, and not just survive, but keep you in this box because it's safe in the box. And anything that's outside the box, your mind looks at as scary.
Well, Paul.
Yeah.
There are lots of saber-toothed tigers out there.
There are.
So we need to be very conscientious of that.
Absolutely. You know, and when we get fear inside of us, there's 3 different responses. So we want you to take a moment to really think this through. So there's fight, flight, or freeze. So in the chat, if you get afraid of something, like if you're having a fear of meeting new people or getting people enrolled or whatever it is, which of these 3 things do you feel kind of takes over?
Well, and here's another thing, Paul, that's interesting to me is it could be a different response depending on what it is that you're afraid of, right? So I find that if I don't know, but in different situations, I do different things is what I have found. Because I don't always, well, I might always fight. But I think sometimes
you think you fight a lot?
Oh, I think and maybe when I was younger, I fought more, and now I might freeze more. And just because freeze, I didn't know what they meant or what Deb meant when she said freeze, and freeze is like procrastinate, right? Just not do anything, like shut down and not do anything. So that might be a little bit more of.
I feel like a lot of people do the flight where they go do something else. Oh, but I got to go do this. I got to go clean the garage. You know, I got to something that is not the thing that they fear.
Sure.
So, but it's great if you can have some awareness. We talked about awareness last week. We're bringing awareness into this week too. Some awareness on this that, you know, I find now that I think about it, and we're going to get to this in a little bit, but I love the comment that Deb made about to be an observer of yourself. So you're not there to judge yourself, like, why am I still this? Why am I still that? And putting yourself down, but just like kind of observing yourself from a third person kind of view and, you know, saying, isn't that interesting? Like, now that I think about it, I really do this a lot or that a lot, you know, and once you have that awareness, you can overcome it easily, but it's gaining that awareness that really is step number 1. So our brain is wired to keep us safe, to survive, and avoid at all costs anything and everything that can make us feel uncomfortable. She lists all these things here in our notes that that are reasons why your mind goes into this fight, flight, or freeze mode of fear. So be aware of all those, as we mentioned, and then asking yourself, what can I do to overcome this when these things are happening? I don't want to live in this place of fear. And Deb talks about, remember, we got to calm down. So it's all about staying calm.
She was talking directly to me, Paul.
Take some deep breaths.
Calm down, take some deep breaths.
Yeah, reframing is great. So what's happening is whatever you're focusing on, it's kind of like making you feel afraid. It's some kind of meaning you're giving to it, like that's scary or that whatever, whatever meaning you're giving to it. It's coming up with a new meaning to that. Like meeting new people is scary. If that's your meaning behind meeting new people, that it's scary, then we got to fix that. So it's meeting new people is the most exciting thing there is. I mean, I love meeting new people all the time. I can't imagine a day of not meeting new people.
Right.
So it's just, it's spinning that around.
Well, and another thing too that I really like that she says is like, you can say things to yourself like, this is normal. Like, this is normal to be scared of that, right? That's normal. It's normal for you. It may not be normal for everyone, but it's normal for you. So to like kind of, I think say that to yourself, it gets it out there like, you know what, this is happening. It's okay. It's normal, but there is definitely a solution. And by doing that, I think the fear dissipates, right? As soon as we can call the fear out and whatever we resist persists. So if you're like, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I have to do this, I have to do this, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid. Well, then it's going to persist. So if you can just talk about it and think about it like that and say those things to yourself, like, hey, this is totally normal. Of course I'm afraid. Like, who isn't afraid of this? But that's okay. I'm fine. I'm not going to die, because that's really what our mind's trying to do, is keep us alive. And then moving forward in what we already know the solution is, right? We know what the solution is to the fear that we have. All of the things, the 8 things we have to do, those are probably one of those are the things that we are fearing or that we're scared to do, right? But so we know what we need to do, and just like realizing, hey, okay, great, I'm scared, that's okay. And then move forward, in the solution. I think it'll be so much easier for all of us. I mean, I find myself all the time, I'm not afraid, 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 I'm not, like, that's how I do it. And I'm like, stop doing that. So what? I'm afraid of it. It's okay. Good, great. Now we all know Cheryl's afraid. Good, now move forward. And it's that easy for me, right? It's just, and like you said, it's all about becoming aware.
Yeah. And we'll go over some other ideas here in a moment, but I thought that was interesting, Cheryl, that that's how you are aware, or that's you're witnessing yourself saying that I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid. So we're going to go over and have everyone answer, kind of like come up with a way that you can overcome it. So everyone's going to have their own unique kind of way. Mine's kind of really weird. And it is really weird, but it works for me. So it just all depends on who you are and what will work for you. And the game is just you versus your goals. That's the only game there is. So like 5 stars here and you're here. So what's happening is 5 stars saying, I'm better than you. You can't do this. So all those negative thoughts that are coming in our minds really depends on how big the goal is. And Cheryl, I thought it was really funny. The best part of the whole recording today was Deb talking to this woman who says, I don't have any fear at all in my business. And Cheryl and Deb's like, oh, really? That's fantastic. Like, so how many touches are you doing a day? Oh, none. How many people have you enrolled? Oh, none at all. So she's not doing anything to be afraid of.
Yeah.
Deb's like, this doesn't count. You got to be stepping into action and noticing where the fear is coming from. So it ends up this woman has a lot of fear, not no fear. So let's talk about the different types of fear first, Cheryl. So there's fear of loss, which is like death is a good example of that. Losing something. Then there's fear of rejection.
You guys be thinking about this because we want you to put in which ones stand out most to you
Yeah.
as we go through them.
You're like, man, I hate losing, something or someone. So that could be one. Fear of rejection, I think, is the biggest one, in my opinion. People just are always worried about what someone else thinks, which is completely ridiculous to me, but that's what a lot of people pick. Fear of the unknown. I listen to Dr. Dispenza a lot, and this is what he says everyone fearing is the fear of unknown. So what's coming up is an unknown moment. I mean, like, we've never been there. So what we do is we go backwards and go into our program that we've been building our whole lives and base what we should do now off of that, which is the worst way to live, but that's how 98% of the population lives. And it's just not good. So fear of pain, obviously one really wants to be physically in pain or emotionally in pain, but some people are afraid of pain. And then the other people are the fear of being insignificant. Remember, we talked about significance being a human need for everybody, but feeling insignificant means I don't matter. I'm not loved. I'm not wanted. I'm not enough. So those type of things. So what is, if you could just type in maybe which one you feel like, yeah, that's probably my fear, or maybe type in two of them if you have two of them that are fluctuating between fear of rejection and fear of insignificance. Okay. Insignificance.
Rejection. Loss and rejection.
Loss and rejection. Okay.
Unknown insignificance. Fear of the
Fear of
unknown.
failure. Okay. Pain and rejection. Is there one that you have, Cheryl?
I would probably say, I would have to say, fear of rejection, which I knew you already know that, Paul. But that's only from my past, right? So, and it's just something that I'm still dealing with, like, from my past and working on that. So, but that would be the number one thing for me. And really, I would say about the only thing that I really, and really it's not any of these things except embarrassment. Like, I find myself going out of my way to do things that would embarrass other people, but I do it so that I can say I'm not embarrassed. Oh, that doesn't embarrass me. Oh, that's not embarrassing. Like, I don't know. It's very interesting, like, the way my mind does it, but I do that. But I was never aware of that. That's what I do. Right. I was never aware that I did that. And so now that I'm aware of it, then I can work on it and understand it and realize that that's what I do.
Yeah. So what do you do to overcome that, though?
Well, I don't know. The way I've always done it before is put myself in situations to overcome it. So I push through it. I don't, I don't.
So you recognize that fear of rejection is your number one fear, maybe your only fear.
Yeah, but rejection, it's actually embarrassment. It's not rejection. I mean, it is rejection because it's under that, but it's the fear of being embarrassed, because I feel like I was embarrassed for the first, like, 21 years of my life. Like, at all times I was embarrassed.
Right. So you're just the type of person that I'm going to fight through that. I realize that that's my fear. So now that I realize who I'm up against, which is embarrassment, you're going to just go attack that thing.
That's right. That's how I do it. And I don't want to do it that way, to be honest. I would like to do it a softer, easier way, but I don't know.
No, and this is like, Cheryl and I really want to have an open discussion today with everybody. So we're going to kind of go over how we do it and a couple ideas on how you can do it. But boy, if we could leave this class today, like, what is the result we want to have from this meeting today? Is for you to come up with a way to beat your fear, understand which fear it is, and then how do you overcome it? I mean, that's what this whole class is about today. So it's a learning kind of observing kind of thing for you to go through today to think about, okay, what is that fear that I'm having and how am I going to beat it? And there's a lot of different ways I think you can beat it. And Cheryl talked about one, where she just kind of goes right after it.
Well, right.
And
I think up things that I think I would be embarrassed doing. And then I do that.
then you do that. So it's do what you fear. Yeah. Which is, the ultimate thing to do is to get rid of a fear is to do that thing. So that's fantastic. So I have I told you that it's in my mind, I'll actually have a goal of 5-star, whatever the goal is. And I'll actually, and this is working with, a lot of the mindset things that a lot of us are sharing in these different groups and things from YouTube. I know, Cheryl, you send me a lot of different things, and Becca and Caroline and a bunch of other people are sending these kind of like 10-minute videos from YouTube that are often pretty hardcore. So it's just been, in my life, I've had, I've been the captain of all my sports teams. I've been in the Marines. I've been very successful for 20 years in network marketing. And it's just kind of, again, it's always you versus you. So how do I beat fear? I do it by being feared. Like I have this mindset that, and everyone knows my favorite quote is this one at the bottom of the notes here today, that the devil whispered to the warrior that you can't withstand the storm. And this is what a lot of people I think are feeling right now, that I'm not sure I can withstand this storm, this whole thing that's going on about being successful as a health coach. And then the warrior replied, I am the storm. So I'm the thing that people fear. My favorite line of all time is at the end of this one David Goggins video. He said, before the devil goes to bed at night, make sure he checks under the bed for you. I mean, it's just, again, it's a metaphor. It's not like you're really going against evil and having evil fear you, but it's having that mindset that I don't fear anything. My goals fear me. And it's when it's the battle of me and my mind thinks it's winning. It's just not. I am going to beat you, and making it to a point where I'm not just beating you, but I'm dominating you. And we're to a point where your mind is just afraid of you now because you just become relentless and you're going after it with everything you have. It all goes back to that airplane analogy, in my opinion, where you have to put that throttle into 100%. And there's a difference between just playing the game to play it and playing the game to win. And if you come every single day saying, I'm going to win today, I'm going to get these 8 things done today, I'm going to get this health evaluation done, I'm going to meet new people, I'm going to help the people that I have on my team figure out what's slowing them down and how we can have another breakthrough today, so that we're elevating 1% today. And boy, oh boy, if you can just improve 1% today, make every day a little bit better than you were yesterday, in 1 year, I mean, you're up 365%. So it's just an enormous, effect over time when you just have this mentality of, I'm going after this and I will make my business 1% better today than it was yesterday. But there's some other ways, Deb talks about tapping, and Cheryl, I know we both talked about this, and this is kind of an interesting way of beating fear. But she goes through this where she's tapping the top of her head, and she's tapping her eyebrow. So it's just like 2 fingers and just tapping the middle of your eyebrow. She'll do each one like 15 or 20 times. Then there's the side of the eye. So it's right in here on this bone here. She'll tap there. Under the eye, she'll tap 15 times. And then under the nose and on the chin. And then there's 2 spots right on your collarbone that's right here. So we can tap. You can either take your arms and go this way and do it. And what that's doing is basically kind of like a form of acupuncture, acupressure. Those are energy spots in your body. And when you feel like the energy is off, like the fear is there, or you just don't have the energy right, because I think we all know what good energy feels like. So by doing that, and she kind of does this as a system to where she does the top of the head, she does all those things in a row. And while she's doing it, she's thinking about these things like, what is really causing me to be afraid? What am I afraid of? And
No, she's
And-
saying it out loud. You
Yeah.
have to say the fear out loud while you're tapping because that helps you release it.
right.
That is extremely important. That you say the fear as you're tapping to release it. You have to do that.
Right, exactly. And then so you do that 2 or 3 times, go around to each point, saying out loud, like Cheryl said, what you're fearing. And then doing like a transition round. It's hard to go from I fear this to I'm going to dominate this. So you kind of have one round in between where you're
I
kind
want
of
to say
like,
one more thing, Paul.
yep, go
I
ahead.
think it's super important to be very, very specific too. Like I would not say, if I was going to do it, I would not say fear of rejection because that is pretty wide. I would say embarrassment. Embarrassment. I would make it as specific as you
Yeah.
can. And the cool thing about this is you can do more than one. So you can do as many as you want. So if they're in there, even if you're not in that fear or you're not in the middle of it, if you're aware of it, you can tap the fear and have it be gone before you even have to deal with it again, which I think is super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is definitely a technique to release the fear. And then of course, you want to go back around through each of those spots, doing the tapping, thinking the affirmation that you want to think.
Saying,
Exactly. Sorry. Saying the thing, the affirmation that you want to have in your mind.
right.
So I think this is super powerful because the first 2 or 3 rounds you're releasing, like in Cheryl's case, would be the embarrassment. So you're releasing that, you're going through a transition round, and then you're spending 3 rounds thinking of the affirmation. Now, Cheryl, what would be a great affirmation for you to say that's the way you really want to be?
I think a great affirmation would be, I am loved and accepted.
Everyone
Or
loves me.
Yeah, or I am, I don't know what I should say. I am worthy, but that's probably from Saturday Night.
Well, it's the opposite of embarrassment. So what would be the opposite of embarrassment?
But the thing is the reason why the reason why I think I feel embarrassment is because growing up, I thought people didn't like me because of the way I looked or because that we didn't have any money or so that's why I was embarrassed because
Okay.
of those things. And so I was going at it a little bit differently saying, telling myself that, I'm accepted or I'm worth
worth
it or whatever. Right. So, because that's the difference. To me, that's the opposite of embarrassment.
That's fantastic. So did everyone see what Cheryl just did there? So it wasn't just saying, I'm afraid of this, the embarrassment. So try to go a little bit deeper, like Cheryl just did and said, well, why am I embarrassed? Well, because I don't feel worthy. So now we're getting someplace. Like we're digging down those layers and you got to get to that core thing that's really the fear. So the embarrassment really wasn't the fear, it's the fear of not feeling worthy or not good enough.
Right. But all growing up, then I looked at it as being embarrassed.
Right. Super, super interesting. So it's the awareness of that and coming up with a way to overcome that.
Paul, what was the one round of transition? What did you say that was?
So it's not just saying I am, it's almost like the I can, I will, I am. So I always go with what I am, but some people can't go right to I am. They need to go with I can build a successful business. Not that I am, but I can. Or when you get the I cans down, you can switch it to I will. I can lose weight to I will lose weight. And then the ultimate place to get to is I am this weight, whatever weight you want to be at. So that's the ultimate place to get to is I am. But what Deb says is that she has to help people get to I am. They got to start with I can or I will first. The other thing that she had mentioned, which I thought was just fascinating, that a lot of her neural tools, she says that you can, or you will, so a lot of us have not heard enough in our lives that you can do it. So I love saying that to people. Like whenever I meet someone and whenever I'm doing that coaching, I'm like, hey, you can do this.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they have not heard that many times in their life.
That is so important. And you guys, I want you to be really clear when you're working with new people. Be very conscientious while you're listening to them and the way that they speak. I know one of the girls that I'm working with, she's just like, oh, I could never do that. And I'm like, what exactly are you talking about? Of course you can. So that you're the person that believes in them, I guess, before they can believe in themselves, right? Because we know that, look, anybody can do this. Not everybody will, but if they really want to, they can. So we do know that, but like Paul said, I think people have not been told that enough in their lives, and especially if they've been on that hamster wheel for years and years and years, then it's going to be hard to break the way they think, and have them thinking the way that we need them to think so that they can be successful. But that's up to us to help them do that. I really believe that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to go over one more thing that I think will probably work for the most amount of people, because this makes the most sense to me. And it's actually a quote from Dr. Wayne Dyer. And he says that fear is a big obstacle in the excuse catalog. So he's wrote this book. It's an amazing book called The Course in Miracles. Tells us that there's only 2 emotions that we can experience in life, which is fascinating because we talk about all these different emotions. He says there's only 2. And those 2 emotions are love and fear. So if we can find out ways to stay in a space of love, then fear is an impossibility, which I love that. And I really believe, if you think about coming at your coaching business, am I coming at it from a place of fear, like I'm afraid of meeting new people and enrolling people and building this? Or am I coming out of a place of love where I understand that this is my purpose in life? This is why God put me here to do this. And I'm coming from a place of, I want to help others. I feel so great when I contribute. I feel so great when I help other people become successful, because the only way you can be successful here massively as a health coach is to help other people be successful. So I just love that. And you just always kind of ask yourself, am I coming from a place of fear? Or am I coming from a place of love? And this fear cannot exist in love. So I think that hopefully that helps a lot of people, and you can use that, be aware that, wait a second, I am coming from a place of fear. I need to switch that and start coming from a place of love. So let's hear from you. What we would love to hear from you. Those of you who want to play along, what kind of fear do you have, and what do you do to overcome that? Would be the 2 questions we're looking for you to answer.
Hands up, friends.
I see one fear already, Cheryl. The fear. Now, I guess what people won't raise their hand is because they're afraid of something. So it's afraid of.
Oh, we got them going up, Paul. That's all you need to say.
That's
we got
all
the
I need
hands
to say,
going up.
Oh, everyone's got fear of rejection going on here on the call today, but a few people put their hand up. So let's go to Debbie.
Yeah, I think for a while, it's kind of like a fear of doing the right thing, which is doubt. Okay.
Right.
And so I got to the point, well, if I'm doing it wrong, then I learn from it. And that's how I got over it. But, you got to go out there and do it, because if you don't do it, you're going to always be in that fear state. You got to have courage to do it, move forward. And if you'll find out, if it didn't work out, you just review it. Okay, then I'll do it this way next time.
Yeah. So good. So right. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Let's go over to Natalie.
There we go. Okay. Oddly enough, today on Clubhouse, somebody was asking for some strategies on how do we take our fears of failure. And all I could think about is plan, view, redo. plan, do, review. Like you got to make a plan, you got to take action, but then you got to step back and go, did that work or not? And
There's our girl,
recalculate,
Natalie.
reframe, whatever. And they were like, wow, that's pretty awesome. I'm like, okay, that's just like, to me, it's common sense anymore. But it still does not get me past my fears. Great ideas, great business thoughts of ways to create community, create a message. And then as I'm doing through it, I'm like, oh, I don't know. Is it good enough? And there's that insignificance that
Yeah.
I'm getting over the rejection piece, but I think I'm still I guess maybe fear is even in there of, is it going to be good enough? It's
Yeah.
like, and then I kind of bail on myself, or like you said, people can read us. If you come off not quite sure, they're going to think not quite sure. And
Yeah.
so I practice a lot with, how is that going to sound? I don't want to sound cocky. I don't want to sound so enthusiastic that they're like, whoa, that's just too much, woman. So I get excited, but it's just that getting over that, take those ideas and keep going with them. Don't get to that point when you're ready to launch them that you run yourself through everything you had before you came up with a good idea. So,
Yeah. You're definitely, overthinking, I can definitely see some overthinking going on there. But, I think it has a lot to do with trusting yourself. I mean, people, you've all graduated, you all have the t-shirts and the certificates on your walls. So you know all the information, way more than the person you're talking to knows. And it's just trusting that it's inside of you, because it is. And whenever you get out there, like I remember Dr. Dwyer talking about this, the scariest moment of his life. So he spends weeks writing up this speech. He's going to give this big speech. It's really kind of like, I'm going to make or break his career when he first started out. So he was super nervous about this, and he was practicing like a long time the day before and into the night. Wakes up in the morning, gets in the car, and this place that he's doing the seminar at is like 45 minutes away from his hotel. So he gets to the seminar and realizes that he left all his notes at the hotel. And he freaks out inside. But he's aware of this, like his whole speech is about this fear, awareness, and everything. So he's aware of this and decides at that moment, it's inside of me. Listen, I've been working on this for not just weeks, but my whole life. It's inside of me. So he went on stage for the first time in his life with no notes, no nothing. And it was the greatest seminar of his whole life. And he never used notes again for his whole career. So it's just coming from a place of, it's inside of you. That's the whole point of Unleash the Power Within, the Tony Robbins event, is that it's already inside of you. It's not anything that we're giving to you. It's already there. But which part of you is taking over? Is it the fear part or the love part? Because I really do believe that each of us have both those things inside of us. And it's which one you let come out and dominate is the one that's going to run your life. So let's go to Nancy and see what fear she has and how she overcomes it.
I'm unmuted. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, I think I could probably circle every fear. I think it was part of my childhood. My mom was very afraid of everything, and she would catastrophize, think horrible things that could happen when we were out there in the world. I just, thank goodness I discovered meditating.
Yeah, meditating is the
Breathing.
number one thing to do.
Yeah, that is my go-to for just about everything. And beyond, I'd say it's a step beyond just meditating. Meditating is quieting your mind, but also the most important thing is connecting with my higher power, God.
Yes.
Just connecting. And that's where the love comes in.
Yes, absolutely. And I love what you said in the beginning there, Nancy, where you realized and are aware that it was your parents that, and this is where all of us get our fears from, is really from growing up. You know,
Yeah.
Deb talks about we have all of our beliefs in stone by 7, which is really
Yeah.
scary. So being aware of that, I got this from my parents, and that it isn't even true. You know, some of us have fears that don't even exist. I mean, it's like being afraid of a ghost or something. You know, it's like you're afraid of something that isn't even there. So it's we got to be aware of that. So congratulations and great job on being aware of that, where it's coming from, and that you quiet the mind, like Deb teaches us, do the meditations and connecting to that, to a higher, you know, source of, like God, and having those Bible quotes like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You know,
love that
the word
one.
all pretty
good,
much
yeah.
encompasses most things. Yeah. So great job, Nancy. Thank you so much for sharing.
Okay. Hey,
Let's
yes,
go to
take care.
Barbara.
Can you hear me?
You could for a second there.
Hello?
Hi,
Hi, how you doing?
good. How are you?
Good. Good. I'm really great. I've been on a journey of getting rid of my fears, and I believe that I am there. The fear that I was having before was the fear of failure and the fear of rejection. I decided to believe what Jesus said when he says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Either it's true or it's not. So I had to realize it's true and I've got to walk in it. And so I spent a long time walking in it. So now it's a part of me. It has gotten into my heart. It's a part of me. So when I call, first of all, I prepare. Secondly, I do like Jesus and I ask questions. They give me answers and then I give them the answer they asked. And that keeps me out of fear of everything.
Yeah. You know, because you're coming from a place of strength, you're coming from a place of love.
That I love that. I love that. And I wrote that down, coming to a place of love. And I think that kind of capped everything that was missing. And that's, I'm either going to come to from a place of love. And that's, I'm going to love them while I listen to them, while I answer them back.
Right. So good. So good. Thank you
Yep.
so much for sharing that.
You're
Great job.
welcome. Thank you.
Anybody else want to fear or share what they fear and how
We
they
got
overcome it?
Rod. We got
Listen,
Rod.
Rod, dude, you're not afraid of
Rod.
nothing, man.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good. How you doing, Rod?
Good, thank you. I think my fear is the fear of letting someone down. Like, I feel like I have the fear of one opportunity when I meet people. It almost seems like they give you, I'm sorry, Paul, you trying to hear me? Let me see.
No, I can hear you. I'm just
We can hear you.
processing in my brain. My face kind of expresses how my brain is working at the moment, trying to
Okay,
process what you're
I thought
saying
you
here.
were I thought you was trying to hear me. So I think that my fear is the fear of letting someone down and
Who are you afraid of letting down?
So when I meet new people, or I meet, people who want to do business or be a client, it seems like they're so time fulfilled that you feel like you have like 30 days to make their life right, or if it don't work so quickly that they're out of there. I meet a lot of people who do the products for 30 days and like, it's not working for me, or the fear of losing them, or the product's not working quick enough, because a lot of people put you on a time limit and they're just like putting you on Front Street of saying, hey, if this don't work, I'm out of here. And almost like, I'm gonna badmouth your products, that don't work or whatever. So I have the fear of the product's not working for people sometimes.
Yeah. So it's great being aware of that initially, but it's also coming up with a way that, so and a lot of this, and I'm sure some of it's real, that people they want results yesterday, like everyone does. But a lot of it could be coming from you. And I know this may sound weird, but maybe you're thinking in your mind more than they are, even, that I got to get this person results quick or they're going to quit. And I'm really about talking, first of all, building rapport with that person, and then setting them up for the long game. You know, and Cheryl and I were just talking about this before the call. You know, it's fantastic. You know, Caroline just finished 75 hard, you know, and that's great, but it's 75 days. Like, we're not in this for 75 days. We're in this for 75 years. You know, this has got to be the long game, in that because leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So what we're influencing people to do is 90 for life.
Paul,
Yes.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
So this used to happen to me, and I think what helped me is that I would set up expectations for them in that. And one of the main questions I like to ask them is, oh, well, how long has this been bothering you? And then they tell me, oh, it's just, you know, been happening for a year or two. So then I say, before I even give them anything, like one of the very first things I tell them after they take the health evaluation is, however long you've been experiencing this, that's how long you need to give this to work. Now, I'm not saying that that's how long it's going to take. We know it won't take that long, but I like to set up the expectation for them that it's not going to be 1 month. It is going to be longer, but they're going to get better in the process. Like, you're going to feel great. So after 30, and I tell everyone, after 30 days, you're going to retake that health evaluation, because I need to see where you're at. Now, I know you're going to be better. I'm just sure of it. Now, are you going to be 1000% better? I don't know, but we're going to have to just continue on, because it took you a long time to get to where you're at. And I just make sure that they understand that in their mind, because I never used to say anything about this. And then, like you're saying, Rod, they'd be like, well, what? My goodness. I mean, I feel like I've been doing this forever. It's literally been 10 days. I have no idea why I'm not completely healed, right? Or whatever. So as long as they know that it's going to take longer, and really, as soon as you are 100% better, you probably should stay on it so you don't decline again, right? I mean, this is like, that's the talk that I have with them, just so that the expectations that they have are at a point where they know they're going to be on it.
Yeah.
So I like to set that up like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. And setting up expectations is everything. So it's letting them know, like Cheryl said right up front, that this is, listen, you've been probably nutrient deficient for 30 years. I can't fix you in 30 days. So
Is that the only thing, Rod, that you think you're going to let them down on, is them getting better? Or is it something else? Like, is it something that has to do with, like, you might not be able to be the best coach for them or anything like that? Or is it just about the products?
I think it's products and finances. Sometimes I'm kind of afraid to let them know the full price, everything going to cost them for what they need, because some people are so money conscious that for what they really need, the way Dr. Wallach hit them hard, is like they really need way more than that. But they're so financially conscious that everything is way too much or not willing to invest. So it's you're almost afraid to tell them what it's really going to cost. So well, instead, go with this, or go with this, or go with that.
Well, and when you very first got started, then you paid a lot, right? I mean, you told me that you just said, listen, I have to do it. So you just bought everything Dr. Wallach told you. Is that right?
Oh yeah, I'm different. I feel like I'm a whole different level though. I do everything it takes for me to get where I have to go.
Right. And so that's the story I would use when I talk to people. I would say, listen, let me tell you what I did. I didn't even care. I was like, I was so sick. I felt so bad that I spent $500 because that's how important my health was to me. And that's how important it was for me to get better. I'm not saying you have to do that, because you can certainly start with the 90. That is fun. Look here, that's $135. So listen, that's not 500. It's 135, but that gives you all you need. But you've got to at least start there. So it's telling you a little bit of your story, but saying it in a way that you did it because of how important that was to you. And so then it has nothing to do with you. And then they'll tell you, oh, I'm so grateful I don't have to spend $500, but 135 is okay. And I can do that. Okay. Can you do that for 3 months at least? Because that's where you need to commit to that. Like, I make people commit to me to do what I need them to do for 90 days. Because if they do that, I find that they are to a point where, oh my gosh, I see such a difference. There's no way I would ever quit this.
Yeah.
But telling a little bit of your story, I think will help you in explaining, why you want them to take that, because this is what you did and it works so wonderfully for you, and you want them to have, that same thing happen to them, but that's their choice, right? They can start with the 90 if they want, but listen, I did this and wow, I'm a whole different man now.
Yes.
So saying
Makes-
it like that, I think will help you explain to them, and it won't be like, gosh, I'm not sure how much I should tell them, like how much it costs or anything. You tell them your story and why you did that, with the passion that I know you have, and then they can make their own decision.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Yeah, and I've taken a lot of different sales courses. I think the best piece of advice I ever got, and the one that's worked for me the best, is that the saying that never apologize for price. So either you believe this is worth it, and we all know that this is the best stuff on the market. There is
And
no,
Rod believes it.
like,
know
well,
it.
we're kind of like middle of the line where there's other products that are better than ours, but they're more expensive. We're kind of here, no, like we are the top shelf that you can't get. There's nothing in the market that's better than what we have. It's super powerful.
Correct. That's right.
But there is stuff on the market that's cheaper. Now, if you want cheaper, you can go buy the other stuff. If you want the best, you buy ours. So which one did you want? Which way did you want to go?
Yeah. And that's okay. If you have somebody say, well, because I was like, oh my gosh, because everyone loves the hemp roll-on, and I'm just using this as one of our products,
Yeah.
and it's $70. And I call
Yeah.
Paul, I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, that's $70. I'm gonna have to tell people that's $70, right? And I was like,
Yeah,
Paul,
but
is there
in
any
your
way? And he
in your
said,
mind,
no.
it's worth 140.
Yeah, Paul goes, no, this is the best hemp product on the market, and it's a roll-on. So no, do they want the best, or do they want to go out and get something else? And that's exactly what I said. I said, oh, well, this is the best, and I know for sure it'll work. So you get to make your decision. Would you like it? And the girl's like, oh, I absolutely want it. Because I'd let her try mine. She goes, oh no, I want it. I said, okay, it's $70. And she goes, okay, here you go.
Well, I think the saying also that Paul was talking about was quality never apologize for price. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta come up with you have to have that belief inside of you that these are absolutely the best products. And the only way to do that is to take them yourself. But it's you recognizing what your fear is when you're talking with people, and then figuring out a way to overcome that.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yep. Great job, Rod. Okay. Anybody else want to share fear and how they overcome it, or have a fear that you're not sure how to overcome that Cheryl and I can help you overcome?
There's Miss Barbara again. Hi, Barbara.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, I was listening to him and I remember I was reminded of how I was. And as I say, I was. Sometimes I was more fearful of losing the customer, so I didn't tell them everything. But once you get the fear of losing them, and then you get down to help assisting them. There was something you said, Cheryl, you didn't say help. You used another word. What was it? You not assist. There's another word you use instead of help. Empower, something like empower.
And I like support too. I do not like help. That, yeah.
Right. That's it. And you want to support them, because helping is grabbing their hands and walking with them. Sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. But what really works is when you give them the tools to help themselves. So you're constantly educating them why, like Dr. Wallach does to us. He will like, bam, he'll come out of the port. I mean, he'll come out of the, he'll come out just telling us what it is. You need this, and I'm thinking myself, okay, 200, 300, 400. This is in my mind. It's not in his mind. It's in his mind. That's what you need to do to get yourself better. You asking me or what? Do you either want to get better or you don't want to get better? Now, If you say, well, I don't have that much, then he says, well, get off of gluten, da, 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 da. And if it doesn't work, it's not me. I have told you everything that needs to be done. Now it's up to you to do it. Now, if you choose not to do it, it's not on me, it's on you.
Yeah.
Come back when you're ready to, you know, and Dr. Wallach is like, okay, if you don't want to do it, then what can I do? I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Right. So that's it.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Yeah. So you just got to do your part. But great job, Barbara. Great job of reframing that. Let's go over to Caroline.
I have a fear, and I don't like saying that.
Yeah, I'm with
Like
you.
confession here.
Dang it. Can we call it something? Anyway,
Yeah, I'm with Caroline, believe me.
it would be insignificance is the category.
I think we're
But
playing Jeopardy
under-
here. Let's take
yeah.
insignificance for $200, please.
For $0. Thank you. It would be, but I think it's insignificance anyway, because I think it's, I guess the part of the, am I enough? But it's not so much as, am I enough, is when I put my absolute everything, my best, my all, my 100%, is that going to be enough for that other person to not even just buy the product, but just, and it's one of those always been that way kind of situations.
Yeah.
Am I a good enough kid? Did I get good enough grades? Am I presentable enough to go out into, you know, the whole pile of stuff?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So everything you asked there is a question.
Yay.
So the whole thing in life to me is figuring out what your primary question should be. I think the best thing I heard from Deb was when she was talking about how your mind works exactly like Google. And if you, what you're just saying, I don't feel like I'm enough. Oh, or I'm there asking yourself, am I enough? Which is the question. And your mind's going to go into search mode with that and come up with all the reasons why you're not good enough. So if you ask a better question, why am I so great? Why am I so thin? You know, you ask these questions and your mind's like, well, because you're amazing, because you exercise every day, because you eat so good. And it's it's coming up with the right mindset. And it's not, to me, it's about what can I do today to get better? It's not necessarily, am I enough? But what could I do today to get better? Because if you focus on getting better, then the chances of you making progress go up. And if you make progress, we know that progress equals happiness. And the ultimate thing in life here is for us all to be happy. So the question is, what's going to make us happy? What's going to make us happy is progress. Well, how do you get progress? Well, you got to be thinking about growth, elevating. You got to think about, how can I become 1% better today than I was yesterday? So I think a great question to ask yourself is, how can I become a little bit better today?
I like the
And-
question that you said, why am I so great? I like that the best.
I ask myself that all the time. I'm like,
Why?
So that I could say that with a straight face, though, is what I'm like.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can say that with a straight face. We all can. Why am I so flippin' fantastic and fabulous? Oh my gosh, if my brain's gonna go out and look for the answer, I'm gonna start saying that all the time.
yeah,
gosh.
well, it's true.
Okay, well, that's what we need to do. Let's all do that for 1 week and come back on here and like blow up the internet.
Yeah. So come up with your primary question. What's the question that you want to ask yourself? Because that's going to really determine how your life turns out.
Huh.
Questions control our focus.
And I think you should look at what your fear is, and that should be your question, the opposite of that. Like, why am I worth it?
Yep.
And how on earth, why is
Why
it
am I so valuable? Yeah.
Yeah. Why is it that I can help every single person that comes to me?
Yeah.
And they get better and they get more healthy? Why is that? Oh my goodness. Like, do
I
the
like that.
exact thing, all the things that you said, do the exact opposite question. And then your mind will look for all those ways, which I really love this whole idea.
Yeah, questions are everything.
Okay.
Awesome. Let's go. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Caroline, for that. Hopefully that helped.
Susan,
So let's go over to Susan.
I'm trying to unmute myself.
you are.
You're good.
All right. Thank you, everybody. This is all so wonderful. Both of you. And Cheryl, I just want to compliment you. I love listening to how you handle situations because I wish I could have taped what you said because everything you said was like I kept getting yes, 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 yes. I wanted to use those words in my own way of working with people. And I can't hear enough from you. So next
thank
time,
you.
would you please talk more about how you do these things yourself? Because it's so inspiring. You do it with a very strong, firm, and feminine voice that I want to mimic. I want to be like Cheryl. So thank you.
Susan. Thank you
That's
so
all
much.
I have to say. Is
Thank
That was
you.
so
more of
great.
that.
Thank you so much. And it's recorded. So you can,
Okay.
she can hear it, right? So then she can use those words. Cause I think that's so important for us to like practice, right? The things that like how we want to say them. And thank you so much, Susan. I really appreciate that.
Well, you're welcome. And I want to say those words over and over again to myself as well. So I'm glad there's a
Yes.
recording. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's what this, Cheryl and I were just talking about this before the call, that that's what makes these calls so special is that I have a certain way of coming at things, and which is going to resonate with some people. And Cheryl has a way of coming at things, and the way she says it and does it will resonate with people like Susan. And then other people share during the call, and they have a different way than me and Cheryl do it, and that works for them. So you get to hear these different techniques that people use, and hopefully you got some value from this call, and that you can figure out how, first of all, what you're afraid of and how you can overcome that and the way you look at it. But I love love coming from a place of love as opposed to fear. And also, what is your primary question you're asking yourself? I think those will help everyone start moving in the right direction.
Yep.
All right, great. We're at the top of the hour. Shirley, everything you want to say to close us out?
I just want to say, you guys don't forget that we have the call tomorrow at 3:00 Eastern. We will do the coaching call. So come on and share your, not challenges. We want celebrations. No, we're
A
going
whole
to hear
bunch of
challenges.
celebrations tomorrow.
Celebrations, challenges. Paul will be on a plane. So it will be me and Caroline and Becca. We'll be here to support you and help you on your journey. And Paul, have a wonderful time. And thank you for joining us, even though you're on vacation.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
This was a great call.
Yes.
Okay, thanks everyone. See you tomorrow.
Bye, you guys. Love you. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Beautiful.
I'm trying to save my chat. Thank you, Cheryl. God